Hello, fellow people, and today I'll be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series, Rise of the Beasts, Voyager Class, Rhinox. So, looking at this figure in robot mode, and the painting sculpting on this figure is pretty great. So you can see right up front here that this figure has a little sculpted in and painted in detailing, and it looks pretty nice. And if you look closely, you can also see some scratches, which are supposed to look like battle damage for this figure, which again, pretty cool. Also, judging by these blurry photos that I have of him, I'd say he looks fairly accurate. Don't entirely take my word for it. Anyways, looking at that head sculpt, it is rather uncanny, but at least it's better than what we got for Kingdom Rhinox and that mainline Voyager figure. Anyways, moving on. So, he comes with an accessory, that being the meat tenderizer, or his hammer. So it's painted and sculpted pretty nicely, the only painting here being the spikes, and even then, that's painted pretty nicely. And I like how there's some spikes on the handle, and how the mallet part looks like it's transformed out of him, which is pretty interesting. Anyways, this just slides onto his hand, and there you go. Now then, can you bonk any Transformer with it? Yep, it passes the bonk. Oh, good, it passes the bonk test. Anyways, and this also has weapon storage. So, unclick the mallet and plug it onto that peg. And then you turn them around, and you can see this port over here. Plug that in, and there you have weapon storage. Cool. Also, I forgot to mention this, but this guy literally looks like a non-transformable figure, which is pretty cool. Anyways, moving on to my problems. I don't seem to have any other than the fact that these shoulder pieces sometimes have a tendency to pop off when you rotate them. Yeah, I don't know why. Though I guess you could stop it by just rotating the shoulder and then bringing out the arm. I'm not sure. Anyways, moving on. This is not really a problem. This is just pretty funny. I find it ironic how he has a large, bulky upper body. Meanwhile, his legs are slim and short. That's not really a problem. It's just something pretty funny I noticed, considering Rhinox usually is the opposite. Anyways, moving on to his possibility now, shall we? He has a limited ball joint at the head due to this back piece. He can look up that far and down that far. He has a full 360 at the arms. His arms can spread out that far if you don't rotate these shoulder pieces, but if you rotate them out, you get a greater range. He also has a bicep swivel, which is actually pretty tight, not gonna lie. And he also has a wrist swivel, and I guess this could count as a narcissa wrist, but that just looks weird. And he has a less than 90-degree elbow bend, and no backwards bend. And he has a fake backwards butterfly joint. Anyways, moving on. He also has a waist swivel. His tail can rotate upwards that far. He can kick forwards that far, and backwards that far. This front skirt can move upwards that much. He also has a thigh swivel, and a 90-degree knee bend, and a backwards bend, as you can see right there. A double backwards bend. Anyways, he also has a maximum ankle pivot, as well as a backwards bend. And yeah, that's basically about it for the posability. So, not much else to say about that. Let's just move on to size comparisons now, shall we? Oh crud, I forgot about this. But, can he do a split? Yes, he can. Anyways, so other than that, let's actually move on to the size comparisons now, shall we? So, here we have him compared next to the B-Duo, as you can see right there. Here we have him compared next to Battle Class Shockwave, as you can see right there. Here we have him compared next to Legacy Evolution of IDW Universe Tarn, as you can see right there. Here we have him compared next to the Legacy Velocitron RID 2001 Scourge, and surprisingly, he's a bit taller than him, if you're not counting the pylons. Anyways, moving on. Here we have him compared next to the buzzworthy Bumblebee, Scorponok, and Sandspear. Here we have him compared next to another Knight-esque design, the Transformers Studio Series 7 Age of Extinction, Grimlock. Yeah, so there you go. And I didn't forget, here we have compared next to the Kingdom Rhinox figure. I actually went through the effort of transforming this, pretty grateful. And you can see how different these two look. And when you look at the head sculpts, you see what I mean. See what I mean? Anyways, moving on. Let's move on to this transformation now, shall we? So, first thing you're going to do is to unslide this and just transform it for now. Place it off to the side. Anyways, untab the abs section, then you bring down the chest, tab these ab pieces in place, then you rotate this and tab it into place, then you just untab the backpack, take out the rhino head, hide these fake horns, then you just open up his skull cap, take out the horn, close it back up, and take out this neck piece. Then you just tab this in and tab this neck piece onto the collar, and then you just hinge these inwards like so and rotate the arms. I forgot to mention that. And then you just don't do that yet. Rotate the hands, untab them, untab the wrist panels, then you just rotate the dang it. I forget this happens. And come on. I'll be right back. Okay, then you just rotate this, tab that in, and rotate them in like so. Now we move on to the legs, which are a bit weird. So basically, tab these panels into place for some reason, untab the knees, then you just rotate them like this. There you go. And just placing them down so you understand how this is supposed to work. There you go. Then you just untab this piece, tab it into there. Make sure these legs tab into the ports that are in this panel. There you go. Bring down the tail because I forgot to do that. And here we have him in his Rhino mode. So, looking at Rhinox in his armored horse mode, and the painting sculpting on his Rhino mode is pretty good. So it is pretty strange how most of this figure is unpainted, but the painting he does have does sort of stand out. Mostly the arms. The gut here does not really stand out since it doesn't have that much, and it's literally on the bottom. And the face actually doesn't stand out either. It's sculpted pretty nicely and painted pretty nicely, and it looks like a rhino. Certainly passes the rhino test. Anyways, moving on. He also has a bunch of scratches on here, which is pretty cool. And I find it ironic how he doesn't have that much painted in parts, even though in the movie I'm pretty sure his design looks like he had moss on him. Anyways, moving on. So my problems with the figure itself in Rhino mode, it's more of a minor nitpick. It's just this gap in the chest. I'm annoyed by it. That's about it. Anyways, moving on. So, the weapon storage. You just plug this on top, and it basically acts as missile pods. That's pretty cool. Anyways, moving on. You could also do this. So, just bringing in Studio Series Core Cause RC. Yeah, you could recreate that scene from the movie. Anyways, so let's just move on to visibility now, shall we? His head can move up that far, and it can't really look down. His mouth can open that far. Let's just shut him up. His arms can move forward that far, and it can't move back. It has an inward elbow bend as well as, and has a bulge joint at the foot. And his arms can spread out this far, but the shoulder pads are on separate pieces. And the range is a bit limited. Anyways, moving on. His legs can bend backwards that far and bend forwards that far. He has a maximum ankle pivot, as you can see right there, and a backwards foot bend. Anyways, and his tail can move up that far. It can't really move down. So yeah, that's basically all the possibility this Rhino mode has. It is rather limited. Anyways, let's just move on to size comparisons now, shall we? Here we have him compared next to the Piggy Duo. Dang it, his hatchet fell off. Anyways, here we have him compared next to Battle Class, Core Class Shockwave. Here we have him compared next to Legacy Velocitron Scourge. Just the cap, I don't want to bring in the tanker. And here we have him compared next to Legacy Evolution Tarn, as well as Studio Series Age of Extinction Grimlock, as you can see right there. And here we have him compared next to Buzzworthy Bumblebee Scorponok and Sandspear, as you can see right there. And here we have him compared next to Kingdom Rhinox. So there you go. You can see how different Rhino mode looks. Well, this one is more or less trying to look pretty realistic. This one looks for more of a metallic, more of a robotic look to it. So yeah, there you go. So my real final thoughts on this figure: he's great. So the robot mode was pretty great. The transformation was actually simple and not that bad, and the Rhino mode is pretty good overall. So this is basically about it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.